Welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm Dear Darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today, as we are... I don't know, to be honest. I didn't have anything prepared, and you know, when you walk into something without a script, you shouldn't be surprised when no lines come to your mouth if you're not a good improv sort of person. Which, mind you, I'm definitely not. I'm much more of a plan, prepare, thoroughly sort of person. So you might be like, hey, do you plan all your conversation topics in advance? Nah, I just kind of let my stream of consciousness take over. And, you know, once you get into a swing of things, it's a lot easier to continue it that way rather than trying to plan out exactly what you have in advance. Although sometimes I do be like, oh, what news has happened recently today? Probably should try and talk about that if I want to. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't. So much of that. Hello, everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 3:34 PM on Thursday, July 8th, 2021. Nothing big news to speak of today, so we'll just go about our usual business as per usual, and as it has been for the past whatever. But yeah, I don't know, has anything really been going on? I mean, there's obviously been news. Oh, you know what happened? England is now in the finals against Italy in the Euro finals, which is, you know, it's big if you're a football fan. I'm of course talking about English football, not American football, and I don't know why I would be. I'm not much of a soccer watcher, soccer player, or a soccer enjoyer, but, you know, if you are, more power to you. Dear, I have 2 feet, but I have more than 2 shoes, and other types of things that go on my peg and feet. What? Feet and legs? It's probably too much for me, so I'm sending some to you. I know you have feet and legs. I've seen them. Your snacky pal, Biscuit. But yeah, England have made it to the finals after the... sorry, spoilers, if you've been watching Euros. But you probably watched it live if you're the type of person to watch Euros. Hello, Labelle. Sorry, Label, you are a visitor for today, I see. Oh, comfy. I thought it said comedy, and I was like, what? We're just going to put on what she does and what she gave us, and then we'll see. Unless we have a wardrobe. Do we have a wardrobe mission? Do we have a wardrobe mission? Yeah, I mean, football is a very big thing here in England, to probably no one's surprise. It's just sort of like a, oh wait, we can't just put it on because it's not a dress. We actually have to go and get changed. All right, we'll put something on. Label, if you so insist, not exist, that's not the word. What do we put socks on? That doesn't make any sense. Okay, so we'll probably put one of these on, and then we'll put on shoes, and that's usually enough. Methinks. But yeah, football, obviously a very big thing here in England and UK and, you know, most of Europe, to be honest. It's it's probably not the national sport in, like, every country, obviously, but, like, it's probably a national sport in most countries, I'd imagine. In Europe, it's a rather popular one, to no one's surprise, which is why the Euros is such a big event, because, I mean, the World Cup ends up being mostly Europe and South America anyway, doesn't it? Not to knock any other countries, of course, event. A gold print tee? That's what you gave me? And the football capabilities, because anyone on there competing in the World Cup or even, like, sniffing at the competition in the World Cup is definitely about probably a million times better than I ever could be at football. I'm more proud to them because, you know, football's a cool sport, I suppose. You know, all sports are kind of cool. I can always appreciate the sort of the teamwork aspect of any sort of sport, the coordination, the strategy, and of course the physical dexterity that you need to be able to, well, not do anything, but, like, do things well, I suppose, in that sporting space. So yeah, obviously people have been very excited here in England about making it to the finals, and it's been a long while or whatever, and, you know, notoriously England have been kind of ropey apparently in recent years. Mind you, I'm not an expert in football, so I don't think I can really comment on these sort of things particularly well. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. To an ongoing point where, of course, it's a bit of a meme, you know, England being like, oh, it's coming home, you know, every single sporting event since, like, 1996 or whatever, whenever the person made that song, the group. I can't remember. You know how it goes, you probably heard it. 3 lines on his shirt, da 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 da. I don't, he says the name there, but I can't remember what the name is said. Still beaming, da 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 da. I don't know the lyrics actually now I think about it. But it keeps going, it's coming home, football's coming home, it's coming home. Something like that. I don't quite recall exactly how it goes, but if you do, then more power to you. I find it catchy. Of course, even though I'm not really in the football sphere or know-how or anything really to do with football. Hold on, what was I writing? Alex right? Alex right. I still find myself singing it as well because it's honestly sort of like infectiously catchy to an annoying degree, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, if you've been on the internet for any amount of time, you've probably seen the memes of people being like, it's coming home, which is of course pertaining to England having false hope in their football team's capabilities to actually bring home a cup, and that not since 1966 where we brought home the World Cup apparently, which, you know, people won't stop talking about. But yeah, we had a okay showing last World Cup or something, when we were in the quarterfinals or semi-finals, when we got beat by, I don't remember who even won, Germany maybe. You can tell how out of the loop I am because I don't pay attention. It's not because I don't hate football, obviously, let's get out of the way, but there's very few things I hate in the world, and I don't see why football would be one of them. I suppose I never really cared for it, and despite it being a very popular playground game that all the kids used to play, I was like, nah, I'm just gonna, like, you know, chill on this school gazebo over here instead of I'm gonna sit around and chat instead of actually, what am I doing? I was probably just getting my missions, which I should probably check what they are. I sort of like vibed around rather than doing anything particular pertaining to football, but like, so of course whenever it came around or we had to play football in PE or gym or sports, I was just like, oh, whatever, I'd suck at this, you know. Other sports completely fine with rugby, hockey, basketball, athletics, volleyball. We only did it like once, but volleyball was really fun. I must say that much. I was like, awesome. And when it came to football, I was like, ugh. And it's not because I'm not particularly sporty, mind you. Like I'm rather flexible, so I was good at gymnastics and that sort of thing. I was good at much more dexterity-based sports. So I was good at archery. I was good at fencing. I was a reasonably fast sprinter, so I was okay at athletics. It was just more like everyone played football, so everyone was actually like pretty decent at it, and then it was just me who just like never played it, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do it out. But alas, even though I don't want to play it, I can appreciate watching it to an extent. I'm not going to say I appreciate watching it and I understand exactly like the ongoings of what's going on, apart from, you know, the basic abilities of, oh, like that striker's dribbling over the board, oh, he scored a goal, woo, or oh no, depending on which side I'm rooting for, which would probably be neither side if I don't have any inbuilt connections like I do with like England, etc, etc. So yeah, and I'm not going to say I understand the intricacies. I think that would be a bit of a foolish claim for me, but I do appreciate the atmosphere, as long as people are being respectable, you know, sportsmanlike, and, you know, not your generic football hooligans, which people might think of when they hear people talking about English football fans, because you know I don't blame them. They've got quite a notoriety around them, and definitely run into a few other drunk ones after their local team has won a match on the tube, and wishing I did not take that exact train that day, but there's not really much you can do about it. Most people, I would say, definitely on the respectable side. Like, sure, I mean, they might get drunk and, you know, drink a little bit too much that night, or, you know, in celebration, but as long as they do it responsibly, if someone looking after them, make sure they're not causing a nuisance or public disturbance, it should be okay. But I'm more or less calling out the people who tend to be the public disturbance, but, you know, they're also not the sort of people to be watching Animal Crossing videos, I'd like to think. Certainly not the type to watch this channel. So really, it's a sort of empty call out. An empty calling out, being like, hey, anyone else here not like annoying people? And then everyone just goes, yeah, despite the fact that I'm putting it under a guise of trying to be like, oh, hey, annoying people, be more considerate, and that sort of thing, despite the fact it's going to fall on not even deaf ears, but non-existent ears over here. So there's a bit of divergence to what I was basically saying. Well, football's kind of fun, you know. I can appreciate any sort of like hyped up crowd, like watching any sort of sport, being like, woo, let's go, and feeling the camaraderie as everyone bands together, and, you know, for a split second moments where it's just like, you know, all differences are raised and everyone's united in their support and love for the game rather than anything else. And that's, you know, one of the beautiful things about it, isn't it? Sport, music, whatever, art in general, about bringing people together rather than separating them. Oh, apparently we've got 3 fossils. You hear a weird noise? I've heard a weird noise. Everyone's thinking over there. It almost sounds like there's something going on outside, which is very strange. Anyway, you've been thinking about leaving this island? Not allowed. Stay here and clean. Do your work, Grown. Huh? You really want me to stick around? You're right, I busted my toe and I drenched this hallowed ground with my sweat. Right, you've opened up my eyes. Open up your eyes, see the world from where I stand, me among the mighty, you caged at my command. Of course, the famous song from, I don't even know her name, Tempest Shadow, from My Little Pony movie, which I have not seen, but just know that song because it's an absolute banger. But yeah, I didn't actually watch the game, mind you. I heard it was 2-1. I heard lots of vigorous cheering from probably all across the country every time England scored. So that's honestly a very good way to keep track of the score in the ongoing match. Just be like, you know, just be like, oh, it starts at 8, okay. I'll just count the amount of cheers I see, and that's how many goals England got. And if I hear like uproarious applause or cheering at the end of 90 minutes or so, or I guess not exactly 90 minutes because they have like a half an hour intermission or something in the middle, at the end of like 2.5 hours or so, I'd be like, oh, seems like England won. If I hear nothing, and a few drunkards maybe going around going like, rah, 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 then probably know England lost. So yeah, you might think because I'm not a sporty person, I go into this being like, oh, disparaging attitude, being like, oh, who cares about football, sports ball, ha 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 ha. No, you know, I very much understand the appeal of that sort of thing, and I feel like people who so blazingly write it off at like any sort of sport, just, you know, just as bad as the people who just go on and on about it without regard to what the other person thinks, you know, because you got to come out of things with a semblance of considering the average person. You know, the average person probably likes football, you know, doesn't love it necessarily, but likes it enough, and, you know, watches the big events and that sort of thing. I'm not going to say I'm in the minority. I think it's easy to consider yourself a part of my minority, and hold like popular beliefs on the internet to be views of the general population, which couldn't be further from the truth, because, you know, most of the population don't hang out on internet sites, let's be honest. I mean, certainly as time passes, the world is getting increasingly more connected through the internet, and people are definitely incorporating it more into their lives as more of a tool to use alongside their everyday activities, rather than necessarily being one which takes up all their time. Not knock on you if you do, because I certainly do as well a lot of the time. But yeah, you kind of get a mixed view, because a lot of people online, we're like, you know, the introverted, quiet types. We're probably not the football types to think about sports. So you probably, if you don't think about it all too carefully, you might be like, oh, you know, who cares about sports? But no, I'm pretty sure the average person does care about like football, not to like an extent where they religiously follow like all the ongoings on of a Premier League or that sort of thing, but they probably like watch a World Cup, see when their country's playing. But I'm talking about Europe, by the way, you know, and let's not include the countries who don't care all about football, I suppose. They probably like pay attention to those going on and other things like that. They probably at least watch the big games, especially when it comes to the semi-final or finals. I'll watch them, and yeah, so just bear that in mind. And most people are pretty normal about it, you know. And you go to the workplace call the next day and be like, oh, did you watch the game last night? And then people are like, yeah. I'll be like, oh yeah, of course, I can't believe we won. It was like blah blah blah, and that sort of thing. And maybe they'll be able to name a few players. Perfectly fine, you know. Most people are, you know, it's going to sound dumb when I say it, most people are pretty normal. Most people are quite subdued and everything. There's very few, and even if you are a super fan of football and you know all the players and you track everything that's going on, it's perfectly fine as well, as long as you're reasonable about it with the people you interface with, you know. You can be the person who loves football, as well as also being the person who's respecting of other people's times and their interests, and whether they can gauge whether or not they like football enough to have a discussion about it, and you don't need to inundate with them, that sort of thing. Now you might say, are you building up a sort of straw man here? I kind of am, because I've never run into that sort of person. Of course, certainly back in secondary school, tons of my friends, or like classmates I should say, love football. Nothing wrong with that. They all supported different teams and that sort of thing. You know, Chelsea, Man U, Liverpool, Aston Villa, that sort of thing. Did I know what was going on? Nah, not really. Do people care about I not going on? Didn't know what was going on? Not really all that much either. I mean, there was certainly an element of surprise. They'd be like, you really don't know, like, that much about football? It's like, and I'm like, nah, I don't. And they're like, oh, okay. They're not like, what? It's just about it. They just go, oh, okay. Huh, strange. And strange in a sense of not like in a demeaning way, but strange in a like, oh, you know, I guess that makes sense, but is this unusual because a lot of people here do like football. It's totally fine, you know. I remember I had a conversation with someone where I joked around being like, oh, I don't think I can name a single football team. And he was like, really? And I was like, no, of course not. Of course I can name at least like 5. I couldn't tell you like what leagues they're in. I couldn't tell you how good they are. And I don't think I can name a single player on any of the teams, but I can certainly name them. And he was like, oh, okay. But it is interesting, you know. I suppose myself, I am biased towards these sort of things where, like, you know, when someone's got an interest they're interested in, weird way of phrasing that, a solid interest about this sort, about anything, you know, particularly or not with football, sports, I know, woodcraft, tinkering, sewing, knitting, I always find it awesome. They got, no matter what it is, as long as, you know, it's respectable and legal, I suppose, but, yeah, I think it's always really cool when people got, like, hobbies and interests, you know, that sort of thing, and certainly, tell me about them. You know, if you got very specific knowledge about football, I might not know anything about it, but do feel free to talk to me about it, you know. And I like to listen, not all the time, mind you, you know. At some point I'll certainly get bored of it, but if you can like break down in a way that I can understand like all the strategy and stuff that goes into it, and like what big dramas have been going on in the sporting scene, football scene recently, and what's keeping you excited, what you're looking forward to, what you're not to. Of course people are going to like that thing. It's people like people talking about things enthusiastically. Excuse me? Rock? You can't just absorb a present like that. I seriously thought this would bounce from here to here. I did not think it was that far away, but apparently that's too far away. I feel like it kind of goes without saying though. So yeah, whether you're someone who cares about football or not, and you'll be watching the Euros final on Sunday? I don't even know what day it's on. Then have a responsible time. Celebrate if you so desire. Just you know, keep it responsible. I think that kind of goes without saying, doesn't it? But you'd be surprised, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. You might argue that part of the reason I don't care so much about football is because, you know, I didn't really play it much, so I never really got an interest into it. I wonder why I never really played it much. Oh, I didn't check what, we don't need this many fossils, that's far too many. I didn't check what the hot item was. I think that's certainly true, like I never joined a football club. For whatever reason, you know, I guess it's a common thing for parents to be like, oh, what to do with the kids, you know, send them off to some sort of activity. Some sporting club or whatever. And come on, of course, being football. I didn't have a football club, I joined a tennis club, I suppose. But, it's not like I really play tennis much anymore anyway. Excuse me. So, you know, I don't have the same love for it that everyone else. Not everyone else has. But a lot of people do. You know? And part of it, probably to do with the fact that I'm Chinese and that sort of thing. My parents, you know, football, not very big in China. Not the biggest sport. I'm not sure what the biggest sports are in China. I know basketball's quite popular. Go ahead, be shellfish. Oh, we finally sold 500. Now we've just got 1,000. So it only took us about 400 days to sell 500 of those. So just 400 more and we'll complete that Nook Mile mission, I guess. Yeah, but sport, of course, sports are, the most popular sports are different in different countries, you know. No better example than American football being probably the most popular sport in USA and probably nowhere else. I don't even know if other countries have American football teams. Probably like Canada do, maybe Mexico do, because of proximity, but I don't know. If you ask if rugby is the same thing, most certainly not. Well, maybe I shouldn't say that because I don't actually know the rules of American football. I know it's about like advancing a line and getting the ball down. When the ball goes down, you like it's like advancing a line forward or possession or something, I think. What was I saying? Yeah, of course, sports are of different popularity around the world, so it shouldn't be a surprise when I say not very popular in China. I think it's basketball that's most popular in China. I'm not sure if that's actually true. Let's see, what was the most popular? What is the most popular sport in China? Basketball, yeah, basketball is the most popular. Football, soccer. Apparently that's quite popular as well. Doesn't seem all that popular, but what do I know, I suppose. Table tennis, oh yeah, that's very true. We do love our table tennis in China. Badminton, also true. Esports, I guess. Wasn't really what I had in mind, but certainly table tennis and badminton are big things. And, you know, I did used to play badminton when I was younger. Not table tennis. Never joined a table tennis club, but, you know, I guess tennis club is kind of just the same thing but bigger. By the way, definitively not true. What should we do? What Nook Mile missions do we got left to farm? Hot item. Oh, that's why I was there. I was meant to get a Nook Mile to get. Yeah, so am I going to watch the football finals? Maybe? Maybe I feel like I should, at least for, like, I don't know, national pride or some, like, camaraderie with my fellow English people, but if I don't, I don't, you know? I suppose my investment in it isn't very high. Well, my investment in a lot of these, like, competitive things aren't particularly high. I don't tend to watch, despite the fact I always say, like, I can understand the appreciation of it, you know? I can appreciate the thrills that people have when they watch it and the investment that people have put into it. I just personally don't have that investment into those sort of things, so I don't watch it. Like, even like with video games and that sort of thing, I didn't really watch or follow like the competitive scene. I'm not interested, I suppose. You might ask why. I'm not sure, because I feel like it's not necessarily the case, but a lot of people have investment in it if they like the sport themselves, right? Or want to get better at that sort of thing. Ironwood chair, bamboo floor lamp, or they use it as a part of the community. What was it? Bamboo chair, ironwood floor lamp. Bamboo chair, ironwood floor lamp. And me myself didn't particularly need to get invested in that sort of thing, so I just didn't. We don't even have an ironwood chair. Oh, ironwood floor lamp. Bamboo chair, I guess. Oh, wait, do we have an ironwood floor lamp? And I just scrolled past it. We don't even have it as an option. Why is it a hot item? That's astonishing. What the heck? We don't even have a bamboo chair. Did I remember them wrong? Got them backwards. Bamboo wood floor lamp. Bamboo wood floor lamp. Oh, this 8 bamboo pieces. That's doable. Do we not have an ironwood chair? I swear I didn't see it. We don't have an ironwood chair. That's astonishing. Well, it's not that astonishing. Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'll be rooting for England to win because, you know, personal biases, unsurprisingly. I mean, it'd be very strange if I was just like, oh yeah, I hope Italy wins on I'm gonna look it up. When is the Euros final? Euros finals. New England, New Wembley, New Hope. 8 PM on Sunday, 11th of July. So, you know, note the date if it's of any interest to you. I'd imagine a lot of my viewers might be American, so I'd guess not. Actually, I don't know if that's true or not. I think there's a sizable amount of UK people who watch us. At least proportionately, but it's the sort of thing where you go into the YouTube analytics and see what other people think of it, I think. See if I'm boring people out of their mind with talk about football or not. I'm not even talking about football, I'm like talking around football. United States, 38%. Venezuela, 3%? That's crazy. Sweden, 1.2%. Thailand, 0.7%. Canada, 0.6%. Apparently there's like... UK's at the bottom of the list here, 0.4%. That's astonishing. Venezuela, 3%. Shout out to the Venezuelan viewers who are watching us then. Probably not Animal Crossing, I'd imagine. What am I doing? I didn't even get the bamboo to craft a thing, so I've been too distracted by football talk, apparently. Astonishing, because it's not something I think about all that often. I remember when I was younger, I used to watch a World Cup. Just like to watch them along with my family, because my family love it. My father, my sister, they love the footballs. They love to pay attention to that sort of thing. My mum, she used to sort of vibing along. They're very much more expressively emotional people, I suppose, than I am. Or no, emotionally invested people might be a better way to phrase it. Oh my god. So you know, every time they scored a goal gets scored, you can hear the loud uproarious cheering and that sort of thing. I guess I just don't really seem like a football watching type, do I? You know, can you imagine me watching it? But like, England scored, I'd be like, woo! I'll be like, nice! It's just like it's so subdued compared to the screaming and hollering you hear in, like, I don't know, pubs or that sort of thing. I do like the vibe of the screaming and hollering. Yeah, of course. Good luck, England. Hopefully you do well. If you don't, then, you know, no harm, no foul. There's good opportunities too. You can't always win every opportunity you get, sadly. And of course, it'd be lovely if you could, but that's a point of it. The fact that you can lose is what makes a winning even sweeter. It's what you're fighting for, I suppose. Yeah, you can see I'm running out of conversation because I don't even know what to talk about with football. Like, what even happens in football? Who knows? It's a mystery to everyone, except for those who actually watch it. Yeah, I remember. I'm trying to think how to phrase this. What we had when I was younger was this like giant like A3 piece of paper showing like all the tourney brackets and the seeding or something for. And the groups, I suppose, the world finals, and I wasn't particularly interested in so much actually watching games as I was much more the scorekeeping and keeping track of like the results in that like giant A3 poster that we stuck up on the wall and write down the score. And a lot of times I didn't watch a game, so I'd be like, oh yeah, what happened in this game? Like, I don't know, Sweden versus Germany. And one of my family members would be like, oh yeah, it was like this. And I'd update it because, yeah, no, apparently I'm a born and bred record keeper. In that sort of aspect. And that's probably the most engagement I've had with football. Like, ever, apart from, you know, playing it in school, which I was not particularly good at. I was surprisingly an okay goalkeeper, though, is what I remember. And that's because, you know, when I played football, I was like, how can I maximize or minimize the amount of time I need to spend playing football? I don't know, I'll just be goalkeeper and hope my team's pretty good and I'll just be on the other side of the pitch the entire time. Never mind the fact I don't know anything about, like, you know, defending a goal, how to, like, who I should pass to, like, or how to do a goal kick or anything like that. You know, I just sort of just be like, I just want to not be involved with football. So just play defense and be a nuisance rather than actually participating in any sort of strategy. Just run. Here's my tip: if you're ever in part of a sport, involved in a sport that you don't want to participate in school, you know, but you still want to be useful to your team, but you don't want to have to learn how to properly do the sport. Just play defense and just basically run in front of the most skilled person of the opposing person's team. Like, this happened. I had to substitute for like one of the basketball house events or something, and I have no idea why I was chosen, but apparently people were just like, oh, you know, Deer's pretty decent at basketball, and like one of the people could make it, and they were just like, can you fill in? I was like, what? I was like, sure, I guess. It was very much out my league, and I was just like, you know, I'm just gonna mark the best person on their team and basically prevent them from getting the ball, like, ever. Basically make them a non-target to be passed to, because I can sprint very fast. And I was reasonably tall for my age back then. Did we win? I don't think we won, but I think we came like third or second. I have no memory. And, you know, never played it again in any of the subsequent years for probably good reason, and I was happy not to. That's what you do, you know, do it for football, do it for hockey, do it for ultimate frisbee, do it for lacrosse. It might not be feasible in some of those sports, I don't really know, but that's what I always used to do. But anyway, should we round this episode off here? If you have been watching, thank you very much. It's Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares are greatly appreciated. Join me Dear Darling Discord, and follow me on Twitter down below. I hope we can see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, it's coming home. It's okay, maybe it's not, I don't know, maybe we should save that till Sunday. Bye bye for now.